Welcome back to the Hit and the Turnbuckle podcast, Monday Night Raw. No, I'm not crying. Honestly, I'm literally hit record a second ago and had a coughing fit. I'm okay now. Thankfully, Monday Night Raw was in the books. The Raw after Night of Champions and a whole load went down. Massive ramifications from SummerSlam and a championship match that was, well, scheduled to happen that is now not going to happen. And then we're going to jump straight into this because this started Monday Night Raw, which was the ruler, the bringer of war, the king of the ring, Oba Femi marching down to the ring. And he was going to decide which world champion he was facing at SummerSlam. Well, he could barely get a few words out before the music of the beast, Brock Lesnar, come out. And he was basically, Lesnar gave him the introduction. It was a very nice introduction. And he said that, you've been talking a lot of stuff behind my back. And he says, you know what? Talk shit, get hit, low blow, F5, Obafemi is down. I would love for them to bring out that shirt, talk shit, get hit. They won't do it, but I'd purchase it. It would be one on my list. Um, but anyway, following that, Obafemi gets up and he challenges Brock Lesnar to a match at SummerSlam. Now, funnily enough, Obafemi is meant to be going to SummerSlam to challenge either Roman Reigns or Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. But he now challenges Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar accepts on one condition. Hell in the Cell, and it is on for SummerSlam. Lesnar, Femi, Hell in the Cell. Holy shit. What a match that is going to be for SummerSlam. Now, it did turn out that Elba Femi was talking to Adam Pearce after that happened, and he did say that the World Championship opportunity can come at any time because there will always be a champion. There won't be another real opportunity to get rid of Brock Lesnar and put him in Hell in a Cell. So, to quote Adam Pearce, it is official for SummerSlam. And by the promo that Paul Heyman put out on social media, hyping ESPN. Now, I don't know if ESPN will have the first hour of both nights because it is a two-night affair, don't forget, in Minnesota. So that could mean that could kick off SummerSlam or at least be in the first hour of one of those nights. Unless ESPN have both of the nights, I don't know what the situation is there. But Lesnar, Femi, Hell in the Cell. Jesus, that is like literally. I know they're inflated ticket prices, but you're taking the money for that. Jesus Christ, that is crazy. That is going to be an incredible match. Rey Mysterio this week beat Ethan Page with a 619 and the Frog Splash this week on Raw as well. Now, what followed that was Rey Mysterio has challenged Penta for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. And again, that is a Lucha Libre fest, which is going to be very, very good. I think that is going to be. I would have said it may have been a contest for match of the night, but I'm just looking forward to Obafemi and Brock now tearing each other apart. It's going to be special, that's for sure. Excuse me. Um, it's going to be special, that's for sure. I was a bit surprised that Mysterio got the win here. Ethan Page has been kind of on a bit of a roll to a degree initially on WWE television. No, he was unlucky not to win the Intercontinental Championship recently. Having him lose to Rey Mysterio, I mean, I think we got to the stage with Ethan Page where we know where he is going to be. He's going to be at that middle to top end of the mid card. Unfortunately, nothing more than that, I don't think, at this stage anyway. Um, Having him lose to Rey Mysterio won't hurt. Will Rey Mysterio dethrone Penta for the Intercontinental Championship? That I don't know. It will be interesting. It will really be interesting to see what happens between the two at SummerSlam. Assuming that match, I mean, that hasn't been confirmed, but Rey Mysterio did challenge Penta on Raw. I believe it was a backstage segment. Whether that aired or not, I don't know. But it aired online because I saw it this morning. um, the Judgment Day. Boys and girls at the Judgment Day, what are you doing? Obviously, Danhausen put a curse on Liv Morgan at Night of Champions. Well, they broke into JD. They broke into Danhausen's area. They've nicked his New York Knicks top. Yeah, we're more on that in a minute. Now, another thing that happened on Raw was after the bit with like, Obafemi and Brock, Paul Heyman has walked away from the vision or what's left of it. In a lot of ways, there isn't. There's theory left. I know Bronson's close to coming back. Obviously, Logan Paul is he's recovering from his injury. I think he's still going to be some time away. So Paul Heyman walks away from the vision, and it never really got going, did it? Because you had injury after injury after injury, and we're still in that middle of the injury. The only thing that still is going on regarding one member of the Vision is Austin Theory and Maxine Dupree. Now, a bit later on Raw, um, if you last week, Chad Gable tried to apologize to Otis, to Tozawa, and to Maxine. Maxine was the one that really took offense to it. Basically, said that she doesn't accept his apology. Well, as she was gearing up for her match this evening on Raw, she walks past Gable and she says, I meant every word I said last week. And the bridges were kind of being mended a little bit between the two on this. But after Maxine Dupree was unsuccessful in her match this week against Raquel Rodriguez, Austin Theory walks past and basically asks what all that is about. And he wasn't talking about the defeat, he was talking about with Chad Gable. And he basically says, maybe this isn't working. Classic narcissistical behavior. And Maxine was like, oh, and then that he kind of walks away. Tozawa and Otis come in, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine." You know, ultimately, this could lead to Maxine siding with Austin Theory. Perhaps the breakup of the Vision is going to allow Maxine and Austin to become a couple, a power couple as such, in on Raw, and maybe that gives Austin Theory another direction to go. I don't know if she will join the Vision. I don't even know if there is a Vision nowadays, right now in WWE. So that is an interesting part with Austin Theory. He got another end of a song from Joe Hendry and the Street Profits this week. Basically, he cries himself to sleep, and he's never recovered from being absolutely verbally dismantled on the mic from John Cena. Which, if you've watched this show long enough, I have said exactly the same thing, and how that promo really took Austin Theory years and perhaps even still hasn't fully recovered from yet. And he did lose to Joe Hendry this week as well. So there's a lot of things going on in here. Io Sky this week as well. She got attacked by the Judgment Day. Obviously, she's already decided that match that she's going to take on Liv Morgan. She got trapped in a tree of woe in this. The Judgment Day just basically annihilated Io Sky. Could have done with Rhea Ripley, but obviously she's injured and on SmackDown. Not that it matters what brand that you're on WWE, but with Rhea being out injured, she's not going to come to Io Sky's aid. So she was in a bit of trouble this week on Raw. Obviously, that's leading towards SummerSlam, first week of August. Two-night affair, like I said, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Um, will Io Sky dethrone Liv? Is a question, and that is a really good question because Io Sky's been champion. Liv Morgan, I think, is perfect right now for the championship. I don't think I don't think Io Sky should beat Liv. If I'm honest, right as we talk right now, I don't think she should. But I know that they're very high on Io Sky at WWE, so it's one of those, isn't it? Oh, they're going to do it. Are they not? She got beat down this week though by the Judgment Day. Now this was a real interesting bit on Raw. It was LA Knight against Jimmy Uso. Now Jimmy Uso did get the victory in this with help from Jay at ringside. He distracted LA Knight. There was a roll up in there. Now at the end of this match, LA Knight attacks Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso gets involved at this point, and they both start taking out LA Knight. And then LA Knight gets rescued by Solo Sikoa. Everyone seems to think that Solo and LA Knight are going to be one. I am not convinced with this at all. I think this is a ploy for Solo to find his way back into the bloodline. Now, as you know, the BFTs on SmackDown dismantled this last week on SmackDown, so it leaves Solo on his own. Leaves Solo, for want of a better phrase. Um, he did obviously break up. I think he's trying to get in close with LA Knight, so then the bloodline comes together and ultimately will destroy LA Knight. That's what I think right now. You guys can have your opinion on it, but it is great to see Solo as a face because although I do love him as he's like a comedic heel, but he's got that violent side to him as well. So I enjoy Solo Sikoa's work. I think a good few years ago now, when Roman was champion, we were perhaps looking at maybe him turning and he'd be the one dethroning Roman when he back then when Cody done it, but wasn't quite to be. But it's going to be interesting with this, and I know they've done a backstage segment about Solo with Jacob. You know, basically also the Usos like, where were you at that as well? So that was interesting. We'll see where that goes. I still think Solo is basically doing that as a ploy to get back into the bloodline. He will eventually turn on LA Knight and reunite with Usos and Jacob and Roman. My opinion, of course. Lyra Valkyria. Last week, she turned heel on Raw. She attacked Bayley after they were failed to win the Women's Tag Team Championships from Paige and Brie Bella. She had this really sort of psychopathic promo this week on Raw. We're going to see a new side of Lyra Valkyria. I don't quite think she managed to resonate enough with the crowd as a face. They all love doing a woo song as part of a song, but when the bell went off, there was kind of still a bit of a disconnect, even though she's the former Intercontinental Champion and whatnot. I don't quite think she got there yet, if that makes sense. Um, and the heel turn, we'll see how it resonates with her as a heel and if she can do it. I mean, she attacked Bayley really brutally on Raw last week. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't that there, but some characters are just made for being faces and some are made for being heels. We'll see where she sits on that fence in the coming weeks, of course. That was a promo backstage this week. So we'll have a look and see. I'm not convinced, if I'm being totally honest with you, at this time. I've not seen how she's going to work in the ring as a heel, the work with the crowd. From that promo, I wasn't, sometimes as a heel, you've got to be like, yeah, you got to be into it. You either got to hate them or, you've got to resonate. Like I said, it didn't go that far for me doing that this week with her. So normally we'll have to see. It's a work in progress, right? That's for sure. I mentioned earlier on Raquel Rodriguez beat Maxine Dupree. It was a number one contendership opportunity for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, I believe, this week. Yes. Standard stuff with this. Maxine gave it her all, as she always does. Not good enough at the day to beat Raquel Rodriguez, who's going to be, it's kind of like a mini squash match, for want of a better phrase. Raquel was just too overpowering, and she will go and face the Intercontinental Champion, of course. An interesting one, then. I'll be interested to see how that one pans out with Raquel. Is it time? Is she going to bring more championships home to the Judgment Day? Who knows? On that point of the Judgment Day, we go to JD McDonough, who took on Chad Gable in this. And, Jesus, these two, you could strap a rocket to both of these two, and it would be, it's so frustrating. I'm still this whole Chad Clapp stuff. Fuck that. Honestly, that guy is a wrestling machine. Just do a Kurt Angle style thing with him. Don't get me wrong. The fans are in it. Like he's got the fans over. You've won the fans over with a clap. You got it. Perfect. That's great. It's not him though. That's like having him back under the El Grande Americano mask. He could do all that shit. I tell you what, and this is going off on piece of an NWA chat. There's an NWA wrestler called Spencer Slade. who literally is another version of Chad Gable and Kurt Angle. His character in NWA leans off of Kurt Angle, but he gets in the ring and just dismantles people. Chad Gable's like a fucking seal. Like we don't need. He doesn't need this. Just, I, it's a frustration because I know the crowd love it. The crowd are over with it. That's all fine, but come on, this we've been doing this podcast now 3 years, and we're still having the same damn conversation 3 years later about Chad Gable. The guy is great. He should be in the World Championship picture, in my opinion. You've probably fucked him so many times now that he can't get there. But in my opinion, Chad Gable is there and he should be there. JD McDonough is a tremendous worker as well. And Judgment Day suits him. It is great for what he does. He is another one that you could put in that Intercontinental US picture because he's that good. He really is that good. And he's not at a frustration point with me yet, though, with JD, because there's plenty of time. Chad Gable, on the other hand, is ridiculous. I really hope at the end of this current contract now, I think he signed one about a year into us on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. So it should be a year, maybe two left. Go. Go to AEW. Honestly, go to AEW. Because you're not going to be used right here. Unless it's financial security, and then, if that's all he wants, then he's fine. But if he wants to win world championships, he should go to AEW. It's mine. Or even a championship. It's my opinion, right? Anyway, Chad Gable wins this match. Danhausen gets involved. He's throwing money at Dominic. He does come back and reclaim the jersey that they stole, only for Raquel Rodriguez to knock him out at the front of the stage and take it back. Now we do know, and there was we had a bit of a conversation about this on Sunday, is that Baron Corbin is leaving. He looks like he's leaving MLW. He may have even finished up. They announced he was in a contract dispute. There was lots of rumors to say that Baron Corbin is going to be one of the monster that Danhausen's created. My opinion was still there. He should be staying in MLW. That's my opinion. But like I said, financially, the offer, I'm sure that he's going to be paid more than what MLW. And that's not here at MLW when I say that. I'm just sure that he's going to get paid more in the WWE. And if it's a financial thing, then fine. I just think he's so better utilized outside. Again, he had a great finish, the end of days. I just deep six as well. It'd be good to see him back. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think we're going to see. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near, but he is going to partner with Danhausen, and that may mean money, more money for Baron. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens if and when it does happen. Now, the OTC is back on Raw. Now, obviously, we was fully expecting Obafemi to be challenging the OTC on Raw. He didn't, obviously, because he's now in the mix with Brock Lesnar again. Roman Reigns couldn't get a word out because before he could take the mic, burn it down. Seth Rollins comes out to the ring and he wants the World Heavyweight Championships because, Roman Reigns hasn't beat Seth Rollins. He actually has on Raw once. But, WWE are like, they'll forget about that. I don't know if it was a house show or television taping, but he did beat Seth. Anyway, he wants to, and Roman was like, "You'll get to the back of the line. You're not in." And Seth was like, "I'm always going to be front of the line when it comes to you because you haven't beaten me." Now, Roman's thing at the end was, I don't want to beat you. I have to beat you. I accept your challenge. So SummerSlam main event is set. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Not at Backlash, at SummerSlam. It's going to be a great, great, great pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to this now. I wasn't. To be fair, I was a bit up and down about it. Now it's starting to piece together. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, Hell in a Cell. Next week on Monday Night Raw, so this is a bit of a spoiler. So if you don't want to know what happens on SmackDown, look away now. There's two things that have happened. Number one is Nick Aldis has been sent home from WWE, and Gunther has as well. You could probably add that match to SmackDown. Gunther and Nick Aldis looking like they're on a collision course. The other thing happened on SmackDown was a number one contendership match to face Sami Zayn on next week's SmackDown, which, if memory serves, next week's Raw, sorry, which, if memory serves me right, heads for Chicago. Give you two guesses as to who you think's coming back next week on Raw, folks. And who's going to get interfere in that match, do you think? Think of where we are. Think of the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. I know it's a slightly different scenario now because he can't come back and ask for the opportunity for the championship match, but he can come back and ask for the opportunity to face Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Think of that one, guys. But look, follow us, HTT Buckle everywhere. We'll be back with the NWA Power Review. Tiffany Neves, Silas Mason coming up next week on the show as well. Kira Hogan coming up on Thursday, so do not forget that. Follow us, HTT Buckle everywhere. Some other announcements coming up real soon. We'll be back with the NWA review, and we'll be back with the AEW review with myself and the Dynamite Diamond, Parker Hamlet. But until then, everybody, you've been watching the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Buckle down. Stay safe. Goodbye.